but we're going to go to the PSD downloads. We've been focusing on Photoshop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to download this PSD 6-pack. What we're going to be talking about is how to simply use our templates to make cool stuff. That's basically what this is about. And there's a couple of skills that you need to know, and a couple of things you need to pay attention to. We're going to be using the Move tool. Most of the time, we're using this tool. Rarely ever are we going to use any other tool in this. Okay, we're going to be using the Move tool. And when we want to change the text to our text, what we want to do is we want to hover over this and then just double click it. Okay, you want to keep everything lined up the way that it is, so you just double click it. Okay, and if you just double click it, you'll get good at this as time goes on, and you'll be able to really use these fast. Okay, but you also want to pay attention to what layer you're on, and we're going to be talking about the background. But first, what I wanted to talk about is replacing pictures. Okay, we've made it to where it's easy for you to replace pictures. Now, what this headline is going to be about is basically, let's say this is a simulated Netflix research, Netflix sharing like movies that are underground on Netflix, because with that many titles, it's kind of hard to find good stuff. Okay, every now and again, but we've got Pussy Riot right here. And I did not find this by searching pussy. Okay, I had to re-find this, so there's the pussy. It just so happens when I searched punk or punk rock, this came up. So we've got Pussy Riot, and I've got this. This is basically a screenshot of that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be just making a really quick thing here that would be to get people's attention to come to my blog. A little, real quick infographic. And Pussy Riot is a Russian feminist punk rock protest group. They're based out of Moscow. Okay, and what this movie is about is they were actually arrested for quote unquote hooliganism motivated by religious hatred. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to scroll over that. I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy this. Okay, and then I'm going to minimize that. And then let's go ahead and let's double click on this. And then let's go ahead and let's right click and let's paste on this. I'm going to show you you can change the text size. And then what you want to do is you want to come up here to the leading and make sure that matches. Okay, so you've got 48, and then we can stretch these. Okay, and then you basically, to stretch these, you want to hang out, and we'll click on the outside. Just click the background anytime you want to do that and deselect it. But you want to wait until there's those two arrows, and you'll see those two arrows. Okay, and then you can resize it, and you can use the arrow keys is another tip for you to be able to go through there. I'm going to double click on that, and then I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste. Okay, so Pussy Riot, and I want to raise that up. Let's raise that up to 48. Let's see if we can't get away with 60. Now we'll do 48. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and we'll click on the outside to deselect it, and then use the arrow keys up, and then we'll select this one. We'll use the arrow keys up. When you select picture, you're going to be able to drag your own photos on top of the guide that we've got put in place for you here. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and we are going to just stretch this the best we can. Okay, and we'll stretch this. And there we've got our screenshot. Okay, and then we're going to click the green check, and there we go. Okay, now we've basically got that. But what I wanted to also show you is if you want to change the backgrounds of these, okay, you want to make sure that the background is selected. The background layer right here is selected. Okay, so you want to make sure that you know which layer that you're on. And you could come in here, and if you wanted to change that background color, you could create like a blue or something. And then as long as you've got that background selected, if you click the paint bucket tool, you could just do the classic thing right there, make it blue. We're going to go ahead and Control and Z, because what I'm also going to show you how to do, we're going to come back up here, we're going to select the Move tool again, okay, because that's the main tool that we're always going to be using. I'm going to come back down here, I'm going to select background again. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this picture of Pussy Riot. It's a photo that I got off the internet, and I did a couple of changes to it. Okay, I kind of did my own little thing to it to make it look cool. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drag this up here, and I'm going to stretch this out. Okay, I'm going to stretch this out to make that a background. Okay, and so as you can see, that kind of looks really bad. So one last thing we're going to do here, one more tip that we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select that picture, and I'm going to come up here to actually the opacity here, and I'm going to click down on that, and I'm going to grab this and I'm going to drop the opacity, opacity, whatever you call it. I'm going to actually bring it up a little bit more just to taste on this to make sure that that text is still readable, but it doesn't look too terrible. And there we go, a little bit below that. And what I might actually do at this point in time is I may come over here. I might actually double click that and change this to white. If you've got a black background, okay, you may want to change this text to white, okay? And I did that by hovering over it, double clicking it, coming over here to the color palette, selecting what color I want, and then changing it. Okay, so as you can see, we changed it a lot from what the original thing was. It's a cool graphic now. If you put this on your blog, it's going to definitely give your blog a very kind of snappy, unique look. We're going to go to File, and then we're going to save this as a JPEG, and I'm going to save this into that same folder. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll make that a JPEG, and then I'm going to save this. Okay, and that's that. I'm ready to go and upload this to my blog.